Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or evening. It's morning for me, just afternoon, I guess. I've been going over Facebook and YouTube, like I do. And Paul had sent me a link to one of the trigonometry interviews. I am subscribed, as you can see, to trigonometry. I don't agree with them on many of their assertions, but they're generally trying to describe the way it is and separate it from the way, I guess, people like me say it should be. I would rather have it. Is that... Oh, my lighting is... I'm going to blame the camera. So the assertions are the things I disagree with, and then like being right for the wrong reason. If you're right in your defense or attack against a straw man, against an assertion that I don't agree with, pretty much, you're just going to be you're arguing against your straw man, your the way you think it is versus the way it is. And one of the areas I'm going to go old school. Is this old school? This is probably current. Let's see if I get banned or a strike for it.
And then probably, the kind of bad compromise you always end up with, and that is, well, we just keep borrowing money because that way, we can sort of pretend that we have growth, and the future will take care of it, even though it obviously won't if the growth doesn't arrive.
Right. Initially, the first thing is because of capitalism, the way we have our economy set up. Without growth, there is a collapse. So our system is based on growth, and for some reason, because everybody's invested in this particular game, that we must have growth because collapse is bad. We must have growth because anything the other way is bad or is seen as a loss. I disagree. The chaos, I agree that the chaos that would ensue with a constriction or a slowdown, he keeps using stagnation. I would argue that primates in the forest that are just living their best lives probably don't see it as stagnation. And since we are also primates, we have invented this system that we have now become traumatized by on a generation scale. Generation after generation after generation have been traumatized by this evolutionary format, or the system that we have is not something that we evolved to deal with appropriately. I think that any kind of shrink or recession or depression or economic dip is seen as a loss, disregarding all the gains we've had in life experience, in technology. Just if we lose a day, that means we've lost trillions of dollars in potential revenue, and that potential revenue loss is seen as a loss. And capitalists all over the country and all over the world gasp. So that's not quite what I was.
Because it all comes down to a weakness of leadership, in my opinion, Peter.
Oh, does it?
In that
it's the leadership.
We are a society that seeks comfort, and everything has been tailored to our own comfort. So why are our politicians going to make us feel discomfort? And that discomfort that we feel is just going to be even more shocking because we've spent our whole lives avoiding it.
So this is the part. I was just about to brush my teeth, and I heard him say this, and I'm like, We are a society that seeks comfort. We are a society that seeks comfort. I'm not sure that's an assertion. I think it's partially correct, but the phrasing of it and using that concept here with capitalism and growth and politics, we are a society that seeks comfort. I'm sure many of you have heard of Charles Darwin and evolution and biology and all the theories around biology, molecular biology of metabolism, how muscle mass and energy and food consumption works generally. Back in the Wayback Machine, hundreds of thousands of years ago, we did not have 7-Elevens pumping out Slurpees that have 1,000,000 calories at the touch of a button, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Calories were extremely hard to come by, and generally most of them killed you or made you sick. So they were hard to come by, and they were often toxic. Still toxic in different ways today, but generally, if you're a monkey in the woods trying to find food, you don't have a 7-Eleven. And so the issue with that isn't just that we evolved as constantly seeking food and calories, which is the opposite of seeking comfort, by the way. Seeking to not starve to death is not a society seeking comfort. That's a society trying to feed its evolutionary need to eat food or die. That's not seeking comfort. It has now become, because of our intelligence, because of our inventions, because of our cleverness, it has kind of warped into that. But that's kind of the side point. A society that's always seeking comfort. The calories and energy needed to get more calories, to have the energy to get more calories. There's a reason, say, cheetahs aren't 400 pounds. They could probably run really fast at 400 pounds, but it burns up a ton of energy, and they don't catch food that often. So what nature does is, if there aren't an exorbitant amount of calories that you evolved with, it seeks to conserve energy. Seek comfort. Conserve energy, I think, is where he's crossing these ideas. Seeking comfort is a distortion or a denoting a drive as being lazy or stupid or somehow that seeking comfort is bad. In nature, conserving calories is the vital survival mechanism. If you don't get enough food and you've got 300 pounds of muscle on you, you're going to die. That's too much. You're using too many calories to just move muscle around that you may or may not need. So cheetahs are really thin, so they can go really fast, and they do it very efficiently, calorie-wise. They get a lot of miles per gallon. So if you took a cheetah and had them evolve higher consciousness and inventing stuff, and that cheetahs, the species cheetah, became the human species today, they would have the same issues. Evolutionary wise, everything about their evolutionary chemistry is telling them to conserve calories, but also get as many calories as possible. So what you would get in a capitalist cheetah society is lazy cheetahs eating a bunch of food and getting fat and trying to reduce the amount of work or effort they put in physically. Because that is for millions and millions and millions of years, billions and billions of years. Carl Sagan. We have evolved to conserve energy and seek out calories. And capitalism, modern life, and our traumas that our evolved being is having with capitalism and an environment of abundance of food and calories and technology, but still this cutthroat idea of capitalism and needing growth to stop something bad from happening with money, because money, they're trying to be very stoic, very logical, very contemplative, very, these are problems we have to, and in my mind they're ignoring the primates in the room, the evolutionary default of trying to conserve calories but also get as much food as possible. Basic lizard brain, primate brain, whatever brain stem motivations that are at the base of human consciousness and drive. And they're saying it's a problem with politics, or it's a problem with people, or they're lazy, or they're stupid, or they're ignorant. Bruh. This is not our environment. Capitalism is not our natural environment. It was the first mechanism, the first system that worked well enough when we needed it to do what we needed it to, with so many people and trying to make stuff and make things better and just do what humans do in our human society. It's not a flaw that we seek to reduce output and increase input of calories. That's the base feature. That's how we got here. Capitalism, politics, and all of our stoic intellectualizing of where we find ourselves today is, I believe, a trauma response. We're trying to figure out how to make humans fit into capitalism. And what we're not doing, because the capitalists and people with money and stoics and the smart people and those in charge, those that believe they think they have a better way or they understand the problem in one way, I'm probably wrong on a lot of this, but what I see them doing is trying to make human beings fit into capitalism instead of making our systems, capitalism, fit into human beings. And I see that as the problem that we have now as a society. For the last for thousands and thousands of years, it has been the problem has been just surviving and allocating resources and getting enough calories so that we could think about it, deal with other problems. Now we've gotten to a point where the system that worked adequately to get us here is now the system that's poisoning us. And I'm constantly frustrated. Peter Thiel also at the beginning of this had mentioned one of the things that I have hold at the front of my thought process as well as he is that he sees capitalism as the opposite of cooperation. We're a cooperative society, and so capitalism is disrupting and is worse for business, is worse for progress than cooperation. And we are a cooperative society. So that's one of the ways that I fully agree with Peter Thiel on the fact that capitalism is not cooperation. Competition. He's saying competition is not the same as capitalism. And competition is bad for business because we are a cooperative species. So there's a lot I agree with him on this, and I also I agree mostly with him on what Peter Thiel is saying. I often disagree with the assertions that trigonometry. I forget what both of their names are, but I always have to. My knee-jerk response is no. But taking a step back, being stoic and going, well, they are technically right about what they are observing, but their premise and their takeaways, I think, are wrong. Anyway, thought of the day. I'm still watching. You should watch. Be educated, because you have to be. Peace. Be safe, everyone.